when this first happened, and we had, I think probably after the first week that we had to shut down in our house, my 11-year-old son was like, he was trying to be funny, but there's something, a guy in China eats a bat and we all have to, lock down in our house for a month. Is this the new reality now? Like guy in China eats an undercooked bat at a wet market, and
there's a natural human cognitive bias that wants to associate large consequences with important things happening. So somebody tried to assassinate Ronald Reagan at one point. Have you ever heard any conspiracy theories about the attempted assassination of Ronald Reagan?
Honestly, that's probably one of the things I have.
There was the movie with Mel Gibson.
Yeah, but nobody,
of all people,
nobody
which was called Conspiracy Theory, and they purported
right.
that he was an MK Ultra assassin.
Nobody seriously thinks like, oh, by the way, like this was definitely a plot. Everybody has these crazy conspiracy theories about the Kennedy assassination. Why? What was the difference? In one of them, the bullet
succeeded.
hit. Right, and one of them, the bullet hit. Like, how small of a difference are we talking about between the attempted assassination in one case and the successful assassination in the other case? A very small one, except for the consequences.
Well, it's like when people play the game, there are certain events that happen in history that change the entire trajectory of human history, essentially. If Hitler had not been born, then no. And the question is, that I always say, what's the value of playing that game? Because in the end, Hitler was born, and this happened, and it's like saying, if this thing would have succeeded, then this would, but it didn't.
Look, Archduke Ferdinand was killed because his motorcade, after a failed assassination attempt, there was this
didn't they go like an alternate route?
Yeah, they went an alternate route, and literally the guy who killed him was just depressed and upset and kind of walking down the street, and all of a sudden the motorcade turns down the street towards him, and he's like, there he is, and he shoots him and he kills him, and it launched, and they didn't intend to launch World War I, but and he accidentally ends up being successful, and it had a huge consequence, but it's really hard. So everybody focuses on there was this conspiracy to kill him that launched this, but that's not. So people have this natural desire to think only something big could have caused a global pandemic, and the answer is, on one level, yeah, the big thing that happened that caused the global pandemic is that we have a interconnected world where people fly around all the time, so diseases can spread more easily, right. And we're encroaching on natural habitats of animals more, and we allow these wet markets. So, there are lots of kind of general causes for why it is that this is happening. It doesn't happen that frequently. Just to be clear, most of the emerging diseases don't look like COVID. The ones that kind of look like it mostly are stopped. So no, we don't live in a world where somebody eats a bat and suddenly there's a global pandemic most of the time.
So I could tell my son he was wrong.
But there are also...
He can go back to eating bats.
Go back to eating
right.
bats.
Well, I mean, this is, the line is, if you're 1 in a million, then there are 1,000 of you in China. There are 1 billion people in China. Think about all the chances there are for something to happen when there are close to 8 billion people in the world. Yeah, how often does somebody get struck by lightning and win the lottery in the same day? The answer is, that's 1 in 10 billion. So it happens every year to somebody. The numbers start working differently when you get to really huge numbers. Right. Chances we're going to see novel diseases. We're going to see more novel diseases. Most of them are going to be mostly inconsequential. If we build a good global health infrastructure, most of the ones that are consequential will get stopped. We do know how to stop these things.